Good morning. Welcome to Today at the Races. I am Naomi Tucker, joined by Keith Fustel here. Beautiful morning at Pimlico Racecourse. Keith, how are we doing?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day, as you said. Main track is fast, as you know. We're going to take a little pause from the turf racing this weekend. Hopefully, we'll be back next weekend and ready to roll. But yeah, enjoy it. If you can come out and get a spot on the apron. Enjoy this great day of racing. Looking forward to it. I got some prices today. When I first did the morning line for this card, I was like a little iffy, but I'm going to take some shots this afternoon.
I like it. I was about to ask you because we were, we have our little discussion before the show starts, and I always kind of ask you, do we see some value playing out today? And you were quietly confident.
I am quietly confident. There's no doubt about it. So we're going to see how it all unfolds as the day goes by. But yeah, hey, if you're not playing, you're not playing. You got to dig into this card. We've got a thing called the Rainbow Pick 6, right? That's still out there.
Oh, yes, we do. You mentioned that there's a pause on turf racing at present. No pause on this Pimlico Rainbow Pick 6 carryover that just keeps swelling day by day of live racing. $1,276,000 gets you started in race number 4. We have 9 races carded for this beautiful day with a fast main tracker. But we also have stakes action coming up. We mentioned it yesterday. Next weekend, Red, White and Blue Festival. And on Independence Day, July 4th, we have 4 stakes carded. The Concern Stakes highlighted there, a listed race for 3-year-olds sprinting, and plenty of others. So really something to look forward to, and quite the way to spend your Independence weekend.
Absolutely. I'll see what we do in the way of food and things of that nature. Usually it's such a big day here at the racetrack. I think going back in the past, I'm not mistaken, I don't think we're going to have it this year. We used to do like steamed crabs and things out on the apron. I don't know if we did it July 4th down at Laurel or not.
I'm not sure we're doing the steamed crabs, but we're doing hot dogs and hamburgers and barbecue.
We'll do the cookout, absolutely. But yeah, I haven't had any steamed crabs yet this year. I know they're getting up there in price a little bit. Maybe I need to hit this Rainbow Pick 6 to afford them.
Well, you have to tell me about steamed crabs, because as a vegetarian, I kind of have to pass on those, Maryland staples. But I do wholeheartedly support anyone wanting to try out the delicacies here. But I think hamburgers, hot dogs, fries, and beer specials would float many of people's boat, and it's just fun for families as well to join us. Let's have a look at the track conditions. We highlighted we will not be racing on the turf, but the main track seems to be in tip-top condition.
Absolutely. Track is fast. Yesterday, pretty fair playing racetrack all the way through. Didn't really see any kind of quote-unquote bias develop. So, yeah, I'm ready for another fair racetrack today.
Yeah, let's get going here. First race on the card is the start of the early pick 5 secrets, one of the lowest takeouts that we have in the 12% for with the Strana Group. Of course, race number 1, 6 furlong. The distance there, maiden special weight, maiden fillies and mares 3, 4 and 5-year-olds. And I landed on the number 6, Miss Boskanovich, if I say that correctly, for Tim Keefe. Let's look back at her race here not too long ago, the 29th of May. If we do can pull up that video, that was quite the race, because just looking at the form, how it played out anyway, Blushable came out of Wicked Hot debut race where she ran a second, where Wicked Hot ran a second to Sinetta. Wicked Hot came back to win by a panel at that optional claimer's first level. But Miss Boskanovich, what a close. You can see her here. Blushable hadn't even gotten to the front yet, but Miss Boskanovich, all the momentum there in the center
lot of
the
momentum.
track.
And she had a little issue there coming to mid-stretch. Maybe a little dirt, little kickback kind of bothered her. She straightened out and continued on straight and strong through the last 16th of a mile. As you say, she's exited key races. She's going to be a factor here from just off the pace.
I see. But you go with the number 5, Sparkle Plenty. First time starter for Justin Nixon. I remember the other Justin Nixon filly that made her debut sprinting on the turf. I think she paid $14.
You had her. You had her that day.
Chrome-plated heart that was. So, yeah, I use her in second. I think she should be taking plenty of everyone's money, because I think she'll come here well prepared. That's what we expect from Justin Nixon. We know how he runs his barn. He knows that he wouldn't put them in a race if they aren't ready to go.
No. What's he? 5 for 9, 6 for 9 the past 3 years here in Maryland with the first-time starters. Just deadly. Bottom side, the mare, Sparkling turf. She was 4 for 6. You could see this horse down the road, but I mean, multiple graded stakes winner, second dam, one sprinting on the dirt. The breeding is certainly there. I think she's going to attract plenty of attention, this 3-year-old filly by Uncle Mo. He's got another firster in there as well, the 2-horse Royal Appointment.
Yep.
Lone Sibling, 1 at first asking. You've got to like that. So, yeah, 5-6-2-4 for me to get you started. She's a Rolling Stone. Love the name out of that mare Taylor Jagger here for Damon.
That was the first thing that I thought
Yeah.
when I saw that name. What a wonderful name here. However, I use her underneath in terms of the firsts because in terms of pedigree-wise, I think, as you highlighted, the Justin Nixon 2 firsts are just a touch sharper, a little bit better on the dam side. So I'm going to go with those as we carry on with race number 2, which normally would kickstart the early pick 4. It still does. No ticket from Keith this time around. We'll have to wait to the late pick 5, which is race number 6. But 5.5 furlongs started for 3-year-olds and up. We do have a video here on your top selection, Keith. The number 7 Revolutionary Road, who I highly respect in here. He's got such a flexible running style, and you can see him here on the lead. He's been in that position the entire race. It wasn't like he came up and had a cruising, you know, sort of behind the speed trip. He was doing all of it up front. Yeah,
dogged a pretty quick horse, you know, down to the inside and was able to kind of do it easily and then really responds when he gets asked for his best run at the top of the stretch, able to separate by a couple lengths here in mid-stretch and beats a horse to the front who's a legitimate starter allowance type. I'm not completely sold on this 3-5 morning line horse coming in. Picture with Tim Kreiser. Kreiser's done well year in and year out with the stars. We saw one the other day that was 2-5. Got really pushed to the limits by a long shot. So I'm just a little suspect of the company. I mean, if he gets to the front and whistles, he's going to do it at a short price. I might have him a little exact, but there's no value there. I like the form here. Revolutionary Road is in top form right now, and I think Air on Fire is a user. Given plenty of time off here for Damon Dilla DeVico and the Dilla DeVico Racing Stable. A couple 74s paired up back last summer. Run against the right kind. You know, Bull Shark, Day the Music Died. Little Freshing, I think, is going to do this horse a bit of good. He's going to come back running, I think, this afternoon. A user in the exactas for me. I'm going to try to beat this favorite. Well, even just looking at Dame de Ludovico says, and just from our experience with him, of course, he's part of the broadcasting team behind the scenes, so we kind of know what he does with his horses, because I always ask him, you know, how is this horse doing? When he comes back after having given horses time off, they tend to really kind of grow back into themselves and really feel like a horse again, and they run well. And the stats back this up: 180 days, 16% winners after that layoff. That means he is solid getting them ready. So I use Air on Fire underneath, but I am going with the horse that's going to take all the money. He won 5 of his last 6 starts. Gate to wire win against some tougher foes, it feels, and none of the horses in here have run figures as strong and consistent as Picture in his last 2. But you're right, he's going to take all the money. So do you want to be on board, or are you going to try and find something to topple him? And it might have been the sloppy track 2 races, I should say 3 races back. He came off of that 92 buyer, then threw in a little bit of a clunker. So he's kind of all over the map. He's running, you know, last race, he's showing that blistering speed. He's getting to the front. I went back and looked. I'm not sold on who he beat. And you might make me look bad here again a day and just be able to control it up front. But 2-5 is not going to make me any money. I can't buy steamed crabs with 2-5. It's not going to get it done. So I'm going to key around the 7 and 2 in here. Oh, wait, what kind of price are we going to get on the 7 then? Because you're talking about making money. Yeah, here, so I think right around 7-2. I think he and Air on Fire are going to be your second and third choices, and maybe Extra Medium as a horse who could, I think, fall into a trip. Has to run a little bit quicker, but as things develop up front, I think he can make a run into it. Maybe help your try or your super. Yeah. Absolutely. That's how we make money, isn't it? Try and get those box exactas or even tries or supers home. Race number 3, maiden special weight for the ladies. Mile 16 on the main track for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Let's have a look at my top selection here. The number 5, Dare to Promise. We look back at her effort last time out here, 21st of May. Maiden special weight field as well. And she had the outside draw that day. This is on the turf. She is getting back on the main track. She came over, sort of slid in on the turn, well held by Rosado. She wanted to go, and he kind of allowed her to like gradually use that speed. Really feel like every time Rosado's been on board, she's been running particularly well. You see it. You see it a few races back in that maiden special weight on the main track at Laurel at a mile. Big effort. Gackler just couldn't hold on. This was another strong run. Was able to work from in between horses, battle for contention, battle for the lead past the 16th pole. Just gets beat a neck by hightailing. We know that's Shug McGehee, right? And Stuart Janney. So Dare to Promise, turf or dirt. She's going to work. I mean, and got scratches in here. 1, 2, and 3 are out. It looks like you can depend on her, at least with the dirt form. These other ones, it's a little bit of a guess, isn't it?
True, but you use the number 4 turning point on top. I find it really interesting. Was one of 2 for Graham Motion. He scratched the other filly here.
Yeah.
She stays in, just has turf form on her in her career.
Yeah.
But good second last time out of a 7.5 furlong. Wondering if he's just trying to test out the blinkers against maybe a softer field. But I did look at the pedigree angle here. Her half-sister, Tale of Mona, has won over Mount 16 at Keeneland on the main track. That was lower maiden class, but still suggests that in the pedigree, she should be able to translate her form to the dirt track.
I would think so. That race, you're right, it wasn't really fast. It was a 50 buyer when getting the job done. But hard spun, include on the bottom side, to me, that's good enough. The second dam dug a little deeper, around a 95 on the dirt. Blinkers go on. And Graham, when he keeps these horses in the races, the maidens that come off the turf, he's 22%.
Oh, that certainly bodes well as we move on to race number 4, start of that Rainbow Pig 6 carryover. 1.2 million and growing in the pot here. I do have a Rainbow Pig 6 ticket as well. Let's have a look how I ended up playing it in here. If we do pick up that Rainbow Pig 6 right there. I found a single. I actually know that you don't single in that race, Keith. I looked at your late before and you went well spready in race 7, but I went with a single there. I go 3 deep here in race 4 using the 4, the 5, and the 7. The 4 is my top selection here. I think it sets up for Indian Lake for Jamie Ness. Cuts back in distance. Cleared in the Jersey Derby. Just got overtaken by It's a Gamble. But it just sets up perfectly for him. Such an abundance of speed in here. This horse loves sitting behind a strong pace. Can go with them when they go blistering speed and then make his move. So I love the way it sets up for Indian Lake there. But I back myself in a little bit. Use Palatial Times and, of course, Cry No More for Kieran McGee because those are the class horses in there. Race number 5, 3 deep again, 4, 7, and 8. Use the number 4, the first time start for Brittany Russell on top, Callan Gin. Now, none of the 2 siblings won first time out, and it's not ideal that it's an $85,000 purchase in for 25. But what we do know is Brittany Russell places horses according to their ability, not their price tag. Hence, I go with Callan on top there. Race number 6, I go 2 deep, the 1 and the 9. Fearless Lassie on the rails, going to show plenty of speed. Mile and the 8th, though, is stepping up to that distance. Has done okay enough over a mile to suggest that she might be able to see it out here. But I think my other horse, the number 9, has run well on the main track, going mile and debut that maiden 40. So I think she can stay a touch better there. But I use those 2. My single, race number 7, a maiden 10, a mile and 1/8 the distance. I'm singling on the number 8, and here's why. Uncommon Valor. He drops down from the maiden 16 to the maiden 10 level. Only got beaten 1 length. Really closed in well. Had so much left in the tank. Solid 2-turn type. It's just a larger, kind of heavier colt. I like him for this distance. I don't think there's that many in this maiden 10 field that really want to see out the mile and an 8. Right. So I am singling on Uncommon Valor in that spot. Race number 8, I use the 1, the 2, and the 4. And then race number 9, 1, 2, 4, 6 for a total ticket of $32.40. As we'll get going here with that first level optional claimer. Race 4, 6 furlong sprinting distance here, and we use a similar set of horses here, Keith. I use the number 4 Indian Lake on top. I already made my case for him. I think it sets up for him in here. So much speed surrounding him, and he can go with them, but he doesn't need the lead. Plus 2 stakes tries that weren't bad at all.
How do you like this? $5,000 purchase, 4 races, $148,000. It's won the condition, what? 2 times, going for a 3rd time of winning this condition, basically protected because in for the tag. You're taking advantage of that. You gotta love it. Jamie Ness right back. You want him for 62.5? Go ahead. They will hit the home run if so, with a win and a claim in here. So anything like you talked about it, he's got the perfect combination: speed, stamina. He just got to rein in it and just make that move. He, if the jock can time it right, he's going to be really, really tough in here. With the scratch of the 2, it's sizzling time. I came back to the 5. Cry No More. He's very
definitely
fast.
Benefits him that it's sizzling times out.
Came back with a 3 weeks rest, made a move into that very quick pace last time out. Just a little fade, a little bouncing. Ran an 89 prior. I think he can come back and run a higher 70 fig. Maybe separate of himself a little bit by the time they hit the top of the stretch. He's going to have to worry about Indian Lake Palatial Times though, breathing down his neck.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Cry No More heavily backed last time out, but then you were saying, I remember, what was it, Airport and Cry No More started to kind of ding-dong battle, and there came Exculpatory
Yes.
making full use of
Yes.
that race. I remember that very fondly because I got kicked out of the Rainbow Pick 6 during that. So, as
We always remember the beats, don't
yes,
we? Yeah.
we do. So Cry No More, I definitely included him on my pick 6. I included him on my pick 6 ticket, and I want to use him because he's going to be very dangerous and beneficial for him that it's sizzling times out. But maybe Baby Yoda might just like try and shoot forward. We've seen these Charles Frog horses. I think he's going to be a bigger price in here because he hasn't really beaten anything yet. But we've seen these Frog horses shoot to the front from the inside gate here at Pimlico.
Yeah, and this horse here became a little bit of a tardy beginning last time out. Really accelerated up and just, went to the front with ease, drew away eagerly in for 10,000, took play every step of the way in that field. And once I looked up on the board, saw that, horse guy, I don't know where MWT Training Center is. I don't know where it's at.
I don't actually know that either. No.
They got this one ready, and the Frogs, they got the money. There's no doubt about it. So Baby Yoda taking the big step in here, but the figure works. So, and LASIK's going on for the first time, no doubt. I mean, I think you maybe leave him out of your exactas.
Yeah, I mean, very unexposed.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't beat anything, but he bested him by 8 lengths with a good figure. Can't hold it against him that he was in at such a low level.
Yeah.
I remember speaking with Charles Frog beforehand, and he was saying that this horse probably would have won at higher levels too. But he wanted to give him that good experience. Well, he certainly did. That was a
they
big...
They wanted the money. They don't want experience. They wanted the money.
I was being very polite about the fact that they wanted to make sure to have a wager on him. I'm glad they cashed in, so I was very happy for the Frog team here at Pimlico. They always very jubilant when any of their horses win, but especially Baby Yoda. I could hear them. That was a good day. As we'll take a break, and we'll be right back with the ladder section of the card.
And they're off. Second in the 2-pap. Round on her inside. And a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Good morning. Welcome. We're at Pimlico Racecourse. We're on race number 5. I'm Naomi Tucker alongside Keith Fustel, and we're just getting through this card. And Keith is trying to give us some nice price plays here. And of course, race number 5 also means that we have the late pick 5 sequence starting, 12%, one of the lowest takeouts you'll find in the US, courtesy of the Maryland Jockey Club. Fillies and mares, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, 6 furlong the distance here. Maiden claiming $25,000 to $20,000. The number 8, Golden Lassie, is our video replay here. Both of us use her in our exacta, so I figured we might as well get going with her straight away. Sure. Claudio Gonzalez trains, and you can see here at the start that she kind of came in there and then got her hind end bumps to the sides, to put it very mildly here. But she still showed speed, and she still continued.
Yeah, she got knocked sideways pretty good. And she was down inside that day. You see horses, Naomi, they kind of try to make that gap at that 6 furlong distance on occasion. So bumped, jostled, whatever you want to call it, had to move up into this pace. And the pace, it was okay, 23 and 2. The gate, the beam is right there. It starts into it. So if you run 23 flat at Pimlico in the opening quarter or going 6 furlong, you're rolling pretty good. Yeah. So it was down on the worst part of the racetrack. I expect with a clean break, Golden Lassie on this drier track is going to be out towards the front this afternoon.
And you use a first-time starter on top here for Jerry O'Dwyer. Windrush Karma, 3-year-old gemologist filly. She's been working decently enough. What is it that you like in particular?
Well, I like, I line this horse 10 to 1, and Jerry's horses don't usually get a ton of play.
True.
But looking back, he's 6 for 34 is Jeremy with first-time starters on the dirt in Maryland the last few years with an ROI of 375. Let's go to the bottom side, the mare. She was 4 for 21. 2 of the foals, 1 first time out. Another one ran 3rd, so there's a lot of precocity there. Gemologist, okay, 13% with the first-time starters. And let's dig a little deeper. Yeah, Hagita, that's a horse the other day. Scored a 10 to 1 first time out. Another one that just kind of had pedestrian-like works in the morning. Consistent, but not really blazing. And that's what you're getting with this filly this afternoon. So hopefully he can hold form and get another score with a good price first time out.
I use her underneath. I was kind of flip-flopping between just putting all the firsts on top in this spot, but I did want to respect the number 8 Golden Lassie as well. But I ended up using number 4 Callan Jin for Brittany Russell and Sheldon Russell. As I highlighted, a $85,000 price tag, now in for the 25, puts a lot of people off, possibly. But knowing Brittany Russell and knowing how she works her horses in the morning, she compares them. She has good quality stock in her barn. She can look and go, okay, I think this horse fits at this level, puts them in at competitive levels, is very fortunate to have owners that allow her to do so.
Right.
So yes, in for the 25, but it doesn't put me off as much, knowing that that means that most likely this filly by Munnings is placed at the accurate level.
Yep, we talked about it yesterday. You know, she puts her horses where they belong, has owners that are willing to do so as well. Sometimes they'll take a little hit, but they're going to take that hit and move on. Same thing goes here. You know, the Munnings, they can win first time out. And obviously she's got a pretty good rider in the morning that gets on these horses too, by the name of Sheldon. And can kind of give you a little bit of gauge of what talent is underneath. So yeah, this is a race that could have a little bit of a blow up to it. I go 7-8-3-4. I'm hoping we can get this first or right back. And talking about Windrush Karma again real quick, Toledo is like 2 for 9 and 5 for 9 in the money with the firsters for Jeremy of recent notes. So I like that angle as well.
That's a very strong angle as well. And yes, Brittany and Sheldon Russell, absolutely phenomenal team here on this circuit. Quite the power couple here. You know, and we know when they team up that you better pay attention. Race number 6. This time we'll get your ticket, Keith.
Yes.
The late pick 4. How do you play this race?
Well,
because you go too deep here.
Yeah.
You go too deep here.
Yes, $36 ticket. I mean, good thing I got paid yesterday. I mean, but yeah, too deep, 1 and 9. I wish I could maybe add one more in there, but we're going to center around Fearless Lassie. Tough by fair. We've got a speed horse and we've got a closer. So that's how we're going to play race 6. Race 7, 2, 3, 6, and 8. Watch Kieran jump up and beat me. Did not use the 1. If you can throw in the 1 and afford it, go do so. I think this race is wide open. Uncommon Valor just takes another drop. Yeah, he's got that style. He's a grinder. He just might stay the trip better than the rest of them. By
yeah,
battle,
but it was an okay performance. Maiden 16. This is the maiden 10.
Yep.
I like him in there, but you go 4 deep.
I go 4 deep. And race 8, 1, 2, and 4, Corrado, Galatians, and Depository. Depository horses showed a lot of talent at 2. Coming back off of a break. Interested to see what he can do. And then we're going to wrap it up. Race 9. The 3 is now scratched. That we just got that through. So take out the 3 Silver Suns. That's going to make our ticket a little cheaper here. And scratch the 5, Watch the Bourbon. If you want to throw another horse in, maybe... let's go 2, 6, 7 in there, but that's fine. We'll update the ticket. Mo American, I thought was going to be a good price. Now that price is just going to plummet because of those 2 scratches. So there's your ticket. It's going to be cheaper than 36. That's what 2 times 4 is 8 times 3 is 24. It's going to be a $24 ticket right there if you take out the 3.
There you go. Our Speedy Gonzalez's math there.
Oh,
Well done, Morning Line odds
blazing.
maker, Keith. Well done.
Yes.
No pressure.
1,
no pressure.
2,
Stays
3.
between us if you had it wrong.
We're good.
Race number 6, fillies and mares. Mile and 8 the distance here. Claiming level 16 to 12.5. Non-winners at 2 life. Both you and I indeed go with the 1 and the 9 as you keyed around on your late pick 4 ticket. I use the number 1 Fearless Lassie in second. You have her on top. First start for the Anthony Aguirre barn. Class relief here, dropping down to the claiming 16 level. I do wonder about her staying power. This is a big stretching distance, excuse me, going from the sprinting 6 to the staying mile and 8. But hung wide last time out, and if you kind of go back, it seems that perhaps the pace was a little bit on the faster side for her, and it's always helpful for them to settle a little bit early.
Yeah, I think this horse is going to be okay.
And
really,
jumpstart.
Yes.
Jumpstart. By Jumpstart.
This horse should stay the trip, at least be part of the money, I would think. I really liked the first time going along back in early January. That was with Lacey Gaudet, ran big, got hooked, dueled, kept on well at the 1-turn mile. I think a mile 16, mile 8 might be even a little bit easier last time at hung wide. This horse has got to go from the inside. I don't really see anybody else that has her kind of speed. So opening half mile is going to be key to me. I think if she gets something comfortable, say like a 48 and change, even if they kind of meet up with her, I think she's going to battle you from there. So, and Tough Butt Fair is going to be the one I think that's going to bring your best late punch. What do you do with Mikado? Mikado stays in, right?
Yes. Hence, I was like, we need to talk about Mikado.
Okay.
The fact that trainer Cahill Lynch keeps this 5-year-old mare in, despite the fact that she has predominantly turf form.
Right.
I think means that he thinks she can run. He doesn't need to keep her in. He could have scratched her. So the fact that a stable that tends to do very, very well on this circuit keeps a horse in here, they're not running for fun. They're running to win. So Mikado, if you look at her form on the turf, she's been terrific in her last two since joining this barn. And then you go further back, she has run on the main track, didn't enjoy that a long while back. But since then, she found a new gear in this barn on the turf. So it wouldn't surprise me if she starts to do something here on the main track.
Yeah, maybe with that scratched horse and that pick 4, you maybe add this one in. Yeah,
This is just an unknown
might be a
here.
little bit of a tell that they are going to keep her into the race.
Yep.
She's got tactical speed. She's always going to be able to stay the trip. You would think the bottom off of those turf races. So yeah, I mean Artie Schiller's. I've seen a few of them run okay. On the bottom side, you've got dirt. So
and Charlie Marquez is winning at least one race a day.
Yeah, you got a pretty good rider.
That helps too. So I had to include her just because I wasn't certain how she would fare. I ended up using the MGO on top, tough but fair, second after a break for Claudio Gonzalez. JD will be aboard 2 runs back. She made a late move and closed up about 8 lengths over a mile on that long stretch at Laurel Park. She can see out the distance.
Yeah, she can. She's never come back to that debut run where she had a little bit more tactical speed, finished up well the last quarter of a mile. The 2-back race was set up kind of by a pretty good contested pace, if I'm not mistaken. Double fireball. Maybe it wasn't contested, but went quick and discouraged all the other speed types. And here comes Tough but Fair for the place. But she's got to revert a little bit closer to the debut run.
Possibly, yes. Maiden 10 is the level for race number 7, mile 1 1/8. Also, listen, we got a fair few longer carded races here on the day. Now, mile 1 1/8 is long in the US. We're kind of sniffing at that in Europe, but alas, let's get going here with the Maiden 10. But on the main track, I must admit, staying these type of distances is a lot harder than on the turf. Turf tends to bounce and give energy back a little bit more, whereas dirt tires, as a runner, I've experienced both surfaces. I tend to stay a bit better on the grass than on the dirt. So that said, I use the number 8 here, and he is my single. I already talked about Uncommon Valor for trainer Michael Trombetta. Alexander Crispin takes the right. Solid 2-turn physical type, sort of heavier, bulky, covers a lot of ground. I think this extra distance is going to suit him. Last time at the Maiden 16 level, really was closing in over that mile and 16 on ground with a little bit of give in it. I think he's fine on a fast surface as well. But that was Maiden 16, now Maiden 10. That wasn't a bad run at all. And I think this is a distance that is hit or miss for a fair few in this field. And I think Uncommon Valor showed with that last close that he can see this out no problem.
Yeah, I definitely, against this group, he's going to be able to kind of hang around. Is he going to be able to go by, or is he going to hang? We're going to find out. He's going to be a shorter price. Fading Scars, I'm taking a shot. A little bit of value here, 6-1 on the morning line, but you get a good rider. You got Charlie Marquez here. I know I'm like Danny Feliciano, but he doesn't ride nearly as much as Charlie. Charlie's coming on board. This horse has had some issues out of the gate. That's the key. He's got to behave himself. Maybe they've got that figured out in the morning here for Bobby Lee. Fading Scars, breeding, okay, at a route. That debut was pretty good, though. I think there was 4 next out winners in there. He's another one I think has to be close to the front. He can stay. I'm not saying he needs the lead because he's held on quite well, chasing pretty good internals the last couple. Flash Lightning, I think, will go to the front. But talking about horses that came out of that Tales of Saratoga race for 16, I like El Equalizer, a horse a few races back. Thought he got the job done, but kind of came out at the break, was DQ'd out of there. But the horses come out of there to do okay. Recently gelded, right? Blinkers go on. Couple changes here for El Equalizer. I'll toss him into the mix. 6,
you
8,
always
2,
have to pay attention when there's a couple of changes. Blinkers on, first time as a gelding, and as you mentioned, has put his nose in front. Now that was an 18 buyer, but I remember looking up the US time form figures that were much more normal for that kind of race. I don't remember them on the top of my head anymore. I had them as notes at the time. I think it was like at least a 40-50 US time form, which isn't super high, but a lot more logical for Maiden 16 event when winning than an 18 buyer, which you would see for running 5th beaten by 10. So to me, that made a little bit more sense there. And he ran up to those figures. He went up to the 46.39, so started really showing what was possible and what time from US suggested. Race number 8, penultimate race on the card. Here we have 9 races going for us. Mile and an 8th here. Both of us used depository, but you have a stat as well on the number 4 here for trainer Cahill Lynch and Charlie Marquez aboard.
I'm sorry, on the 1.
Oh, on the 1. Okay. Excuse me. I thought the one was. Excuse me. I thought it was on depository. So stat on the number 1, Corrado Shugmagay.
And we got a video a little bit here
on the number 4.
Let's go with the stat first. The stat first for Corrado McGahee. Shug, last 3 years on the dirt. Look at this. 6 for 13, 46%, 11 for 13 to money. Just 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds that just broke their maiden, right? 270 their ROI. Corrado got a great ride by Forrest Boyce. I mean, she's put on some fabulous rides when riding for McGahee. She's getting the right kind of horses, but sometimes even prices she scored for Shug. So she's not on all the Cadillacs, right? This one here, very patient, sat chilly behind horses, leaving the far turn, worked out a trip in True Clear. That stat says expect improvement, right? With the 3-year-old maiden breakers, widen time, just not great, but I tell you what, but visually good to me. I think Corrado can step up here, gets a little bit of speed to target in the 2 Galatians. Sparty, I think, is going to bring some speed to the table. Improved effort, and let's make it 2 in a row for Corrado.
Oh, this will be the baptism of fire for him, though, stepping up to this first level allowance. Let's have a look indeed at that video of Depository. Long time ago, the 29th of August, I do believe, off the turf, maiden special weight event. He moved up 3 wide. He's never really gone back to that kind of form, though.
Yeah, and I got burned by him a couple times thinking sooner or later he was going to come back to this effort, Naomi. He just didn't. He just, look at this, just easily. Now the number, going back, but this is a 2. But doing it at the router ground, he just does it so effortlessly for the most part and goes away. Freshened up, though, plus 180 days works for me for this barn. The Lasix goes on. I think with Charlie Marquez, they went and sought Charlie. I think you're going to see a different kind of Depository, more mature, just a faster runner. As these horses, you've got to project him to get faster. He's got to get faster if he's going to jump into that 70 rank. He's got to go up maybe 15 points to join up with the likes of Galatians and Corrado and a couple of these other horses.
I use Galatians on top. He's one of the speedsters in here. He's drawn the low, engaging his pace duel early in his last race, which took away some of his sharpness. I think they're going to move him forward on the rail, hopefully take the lead and control the entire race. Mawan in 8th, obviously, hopefully has plenty left in the tank on that moment. But, he's running the right kind of figures. He's consistent. He's a 6-year-old. Now, I know we have a couple of 3-year-olds in here that aren't as exposed yet. But Galatians has posted the figures that could have them if they haven't progressed. So I'm going to go with the veteran in here.
No, he can stay the trip against this group, no doubt about it. He doesn't necessarily need to lead, and we know Damon third off of a break. That's a good angle for him. So 1, 2, 4, 6.
Absolutely. Final race on the card. Mawan 16 claiming 10,000. Non-win is a 2 lifetime. We kind of, mixed this about a little bit. You landed on the number 2 Mo American. You mentioned first time as a gelding for Annette Eubanks.
Yeah, and just hoping on that angle that he jumps up again. Charlie Marquez, I need you today.
We both have a lot of Charlie Marquez in our picks.
Quite a few horses. Yeah, late scratch of the 3, Silver Sun. Also scratched the morning line favorite. Watch the Bourbon. So these horses that we thought were going to be a little bit of price are not going to be priced. Milk American just looks like a horse, again, that can stay the trip. I was hoping some of the speed would stay in. It didn't. But that 49 buyer, I mean, what are you going to have to run here? 50, 52?
Yeah, which my top pick can run, supporting actor in here, now with a new barn in Anthony Ferrier. And I'm taking my chance here against a group that just... Some of these a little bit on and off. I'm going to go with supporting acting. Of course, Sheldon Russell aboard, who rode a double yesterday. We'll get to that in just a second. I had some interest in a horse on the rail, Tiny Tin for Ferris, Alexander Crispin. Just, third off the layoff. Last race was a big improvement in terms of his close. Now, before that, he closed well, but kind of started to make it happen behind Shaka Style.
Yeah, Shaka Style, a repeat winner. Yeah, willing to the end. I mean, paired up for it. Can he get a little bit quicker? He may not have to against this group. But shorter field. Aperitivo, the 4, now was put up via DQ off of that May the 9th race, and now has to go against winners. But this is the right move. The 10,000, 2 in life. That's where this horse probably would have landed, right, if he would have won one of those races.
Yeah.
He has speed. A lot of these other horses, they don't have much speed, so he's going to take them as far as he can here in the nightcap.
Now let's move on to lightning round. First things first, we'll look back at race number 6 here, where Macklemore Avenue on the far outside was caught wide.
Yeah, I think he was bet down to 3-2 or 7-5, along with Kieran's horse Hanley's Houdini. But this is not the trip that you want when you go route ground.
Oof.
you know, hung out 4 and 5 wide. You saw it there into the far turn. Ended up rushing up a little bit into the clubhouse, not the clubhouse turn, into the backstretch, I should say, and then makes a 3 wide bid to engage and just battles, gets a short lead in mid-stretch. Forest Fire, who had the best of it, came back to win. But McElmore Avenue, man, he's holding good form here for Mary Epler.
And let's have a look at our sister track here. We highlighted it yesterday. Today's the day. Mandatory payout at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, which is today. Rainbow Pick 6, estimated over 2.5 million in that pool. You definitely want to get on board there.
Yeah, so between the tracks, what do we have? Almost $4 million we're talking about?
Yeah, something like that,
yeah,
right?
so that's, you better get busy. If you haven't looked at Gulfstream right now, you might want to take a peek. So, yeah, help that handle out. Jump in.
Absolutely. And, of course, we did have a pair of doubles yesterday. We saw Sheldon Russell. We did just see that race, but this is Sheldon Russell riding the lights out here. I think it was a $17.60 winner. That was the first of his double. Forest Fire was the first there. And then he also had My Sacred Place later on in race number 8. And, of course, also had Team Dale Capuano or Jorge Ruiz having quite a nice day.
And right there, Sheldon. First turn, the key. I think the quarter went up in 25-1. We talked about this horse on the show. He was going to hold your value in the exactas. We hope you paid attention and used this horse. I think got away. You say he's paid $17.60. I know you like the horse, and that was it. He got away 25-1. That horse can stay at Trib. He's a horse that won the Maryland Million Classic a few years ago. I think on the front end. Service came down, meant business. He got back to that top form yesterday with a little help from that
little
early flow.
help there,
early flow. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course,
we're
going to see an old friend return again tomorrow on Sunday. Very much looking forward to seeing Harper's first ride back in the Claudio Gonzalez stable. Has been campaigned with Robertino Diodora at 3 starts with him. Never really returned to the top form that, for example, he showed right here in the Grade 3 Pimlico Special.
How about that? Battle on the front end, puts away the shipper and goes clear here late. Yeah, I got to think the return of Claudio. He's going to like that. You're going to see a different Harper's first ride than what you saw in the last couple of races. You know, the condition of the race, everything sets up
works
beautifully
well
to him.
for
Yeah,
him
so
there.
Get a chance, read that condition, and right up his alley.
Yep, I have him as my top pick in there. How can you not? Certainly will enjoy getting back on the Mid-Atlantic circuit. And as you mentioned, he bested Owendale there. Very tough Brad Cox
that's right.
runner. And it was a really, really good race to watch. And I remember how much it meant for Angel Cruz. Angel loves Harper's first ride. Gets on him a fair few times in the morning as well. And just, has so much faith in him, so much respect. Wonderful partnership that we'll get the chance to see again tomorrow in race 6. So don't miss out on that. Next up will be Dave Rotman with all the changes for today. Keith Fusel, Naomi Tucker saying goodbye. I'll be back later in the afternoon, and you'll be busy, right?
Be busy calling some charts, but everybody, good luck today.